Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Welcome to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call, and that, of course, was Joe Cocker.
Oh, it wasn't a dedication to me, Kelly.
Are you kidding me? Are you nuts?
Oh, my tears to my eyes. Oh, Kelly,
Yeah,
I had no idea that's how you felt. Oh, my goodness. Our show's coming to an end. And now, after all this time, you tell me.
No, sorry.
I just started laughing as I'm listening to the song play more. Yeah, well, Joe Cocker, end of an era.
Yes, indeed.
Away.
He had his own unique style.
Oh, he did.
He'd get up there sometimes and do his thing, and he looked like he was kind of having spasms.
Oh, I know. Like he was having a
like
seizure.
He was playing the guitar or something. But he had his own way of doing things, and
very unique voice.
He did very unique. Yeah.
Yeah. 70 years old. Can you imagine that? Is crazy.
And 40 albums.
Wow.
Yeah. No kidding. Dead at 70. Complications from lung disease.
Lung cancer. Yeah.
So too bad. Well, another one.
Well, it's kind of weird because you remember from Woodstock and all these times, and you just think, is it possible they could be 70?
I know.
How old are we getting to be?
Woodstock was just last month,
69.
wasn't it?
Yeah. I had a friend once. We were talking, and he said some friends of his said, "Hey, we're going to go to a concert in New York." He lived in Boston at the time, and they're like, "Do you want to come?" He goes, "Nah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anything anyway." Turned out to be Woodstock. No big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody around here went to Woodstock.
I don't know.
I'm sure there probably are some.
Well, call in if you did.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to hear from you. 7360300.
How bad was your sunburn when you were naked for 3 days? I mean, the mud, the dirt, the craziness.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I wasn't. Even today, I wouldn't go across the street for a concert with anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody really is that fascinating to me, you know?
Well, there you go.
Now,
well, you've heard it all. You've played them all.
Now go across the street for a ham radio convention or something.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Now, why would you have to go across the street for that? You could just talk on your ham radio at the convention. You wouldn't even have to move.
Yeah.
You don't even have to walk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have Brian Newdorf from KMVT coming in.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have him on the phone at 8:20. We're going to talk about the prospects of a white Christmas.
Or not.
And what the travel might be like for you.
Or not.
At 8:30, we have Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans.
That's right.
And we've got a couple of things to talk about today. Some do's and don'ts of teacher gifts that every parent should know.
And we should say we did promo Marge Smith from the Department of Labor. She's usually on monthly, but poor Marge has been struck with the flu.
Yeah.
So this is her second day. So anyway, you can tell your kids to go back to sleep, go back in their basement. You don't have to wake them up today.
That's right. They're getting a reprieve today.
You know, a lot of people have the whole station, like 8 or 9 people had this stuff. I don't know what it is, but it seems to last a while.
Yeah, and yeah.
I'm not even going to say.
I must have a pretty good immune system because I don't get sick that often. And I eat meat. Oh, my gosh. How did that happen?
The bugs are afraid of you. I'm telling you.
Yes, they are.
I know.
Hey,
we've been lucky.
They attack me. They're the ones that get sick, not me.
I know. Everyone's like, oh, there's been like 8 of us that have this. I'm like, really? Where have I been? I come, I go.
I've been around a lot of it.
Yeah, and you've survived.
I did. We ought to have a caller. Should we take it?
Yeah, of course.
It's Christmas Eve. Why not? 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Callie. Hello, my beautiful Jill.
Hello.
Hey, Cal, after 40 years, the best thing you could have done was put that song on this morning for my beautiful friend right there next to you. Congratulations.
It should have been a dedication.
40 years, and this is the first thing you did right. Congrats.
Well, I want you to know that in my rock and roll years, he always just kind of hits and leaves, doesn't he? In my rock and roll years, I played that, I'm sure, many times.
Oh, I'm sure. And did you do, and this is a dedication.
Before I was a world-class talk show host, I was on, playing music.
Did you sit there and do dedications? Do people call and do dedications?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to dedicate that to the one I love.
Yeah, we had, I probably should save this, but
you can save it.
We had, we used to have a Red Steer drive-in in town. Red Steer Drive-In.
Like a Sonic, like a drive-in
drive-in.
hamburger
and
place?
They had the best hamburgers.
Did they?
And it was there where the old D.L. Evans Bank is on Blue Lakes. It was right there. And they had dedication night, Red Steer dedication night. And I'd stop on the way to work in the evening, pick up buckets full of dedications.
No, sir.
All my girlfriends there would give me free hamburgers, and then
Kelly.
I'd run down to the station and do Red Steer dedication.
Kelly, can you play the songs for us, please?
Those were the days, Jill,
Kelly,
I tell you.
You were so hot.
Those were the days. 7360300. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. That song you played by Joe Cocker, I was surprised who wrote that, helped write that song. It was Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That kind of sounds like that style.
Yeah, it does. I just want to let you know that. Thanks.
Thanks, appreciate it. It is kind of funny when you get to looking at some of the songwriters.
Yeah.
On some of these songs, it is. Wow, I didn't know they wrote that.
I know,
it's almost
amazing.
That kind of a reaction.
Well, Barry Manilow, how many things has he written?
Goodness,
like all the jingles and stuff?
Yeah, McDonald's jingles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so talented, these people.
Yeah.
I
still like Barry Manilow.
How many Jews have written Christmas songs? What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Some of the best Christmas songs ever written by Jews.
How many Christians have written Hanukkah songs?
None.
I don't know. Yeah, right.
Adam Sandler, but he's Jewish. We need to play that. Tonight's our last night. We should have played Adam Sandler. Can we find it before we get...
What do you mean tonight's our last night?
Of Hanukkah.
Oh, Hanukkah.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness.
Now it's too late.
I don't know
can't.
if I can... I might be able to find that, Jill.
That is so funny. I love that song.
I might have to do
do a dedication to the Jew crew on our station. We do it on Nate's station, but come on.
What is the name of that song?
I think it's Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song. I guess that's the only thing I could think of.
Now I'm going to have to ask, how do you spell Hanukkah?
Okay, fine.
Because there's about 14 different... I'll look up Adam Sandler.
Here it is. Hanukkah.
I'm going to look up Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler Hanukkah song. Hanukkah. There are 3 ways to spell it. There we go. Happy Hanukkah to the Jew crew for the last night of Hanukkah. Thanks, Kelly.
You're
I love
welcome.
that song.
I know.
It's awesome.
I went through heroic deeds there to get that on for you. So.
Oh, man, buddy,
Yeah.
I don't even know how you did it. And that's what makes you, Kelly. It's 40 years in the business, right there, people.
We'll be right back with KMVT Chief Meteorologist Brian Newdorf. What's the Christmas season going to look like? Is it going to be white or not? 7360300 was the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Before we get to Brian Newdorf of KMVT weather fame, I wanted to tell you about the Low and Honey Loader from Stanley and Company, which you can see in operation if you have a big feedlot or dairy. Now, if you just have a few steers out on pasture or something in the summer like Steve Millington does, then, a Low and Honey Loader probably isn't going to be of much use to you. However, we have a lot of feedlots and dairy operations in this area, and the Low and Honey Loader would be a godsend. It can load all types of manure, anywhere from liquid to frozen and dry. Want to see one in operation? Want to buy one? Get a hold of Pat Hartzell, 280-1167. That's 280-1167 for Pat Hartzell, and he can help you out. Brian Newdorf, are you there?
Yes, I am, Kelly.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
This is KMVT's Chief Meteorologist, Brian Newdorf. How are you?
How you guys doing? I'm sorry, I had to stretch there. First of all, Merry
Merry
Christmas, Kelly. Merry Christmas, Kelly. Happy Hanukkah.
Thanks,
Jill,
Brian.
So, no problem.
Hey, we've been wondering about the prospects of a white Christmas. I know it might be a white Christmas in some places, but what about here?
Well, the valleys, first of all, obviously the mountains have a pretty much a slam dunk chance of, if you go higher, like, so for Magic Mountain and up towards, say, the Wood River Valley, they're looking at a 100% chance of a white Christmas. Now, for about the last week, I've been saying the odds for a white Christmas here in the valleys was about 25 to 30%. So I said that there was a chance even going back to last week. The one thing I've been noticing, and the consistent thing for about the last week, has been a storm system coming in Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day. That has been consistent with our forecast models we use for about the last week. The question, though, has always been, okay, will it get cold enough here in the valleys? Because it is a strong cold front that's going to work through here. Will it get cold enough, fast enough, with moisture for it to snow? Well, I've been looking at things the last couple of days. I'm going to say I'm going out. Those odds for a white Christmas have gone up. There's still some small doubt, but I'm actually rising those odds to a white Christmas. I would love to say 100%, and I'm leaning that direction. But for the sake of being a meteorologist and seeing the one little thing that I'm seeing just in the last couple of days, a forecast model that's pretty good, just kind of switched on me from late last night to this morning. But I still think the odds of a white Christmas are now about 60, 70%. I'm right now in my forecast and the rest of the weather department. We've got 1 to 3 inches coming in from Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day with some snow showers. So the worst case scenario, we get a coating to an inch here in the valleys Christmas Day. So I think our odds of a white Christmas have substantially increased over the last couple of days.
Brian, hey, what when you talk about a storm, is that going to affect travel at all? If people are flying out of Boise, if people are traveling out of Twin by car, maybe they're going to Utah, maybe they're going to Eastern Idaho. What kind of a storm is this?
Well, it's a cold front. And I mean, the good news, I guess, if you had to find something, and sorry for the fast talking, it's morning for me still. I'm not usually it's early morning compared to a guy who stays up most late nights late. As far as travel, I think the timing is the best because it comes in late Wednesday night, early Christmas morning. I do know people are flying out Christmas Day, so if you do have flights, say, real early Christmas morning, I would look ahead or call ahead. Obviously, there are no advisories at this point from the Weather Service. That could change, especially as we go into Christmas Eve. I don't think it's going to be like a winter storm warning where roads are going to be major problems. Okay. But I think if we get something, it's a winter weather advisory that may tack on an extra hour to your preparation if you're traveling to Boise or Salt Lake. And again, I think the timing is beneficial to those who may have to travel. And what my only recommendation is if you are flying out of, say, Utah or Boise, maybe you and it's like the flight is first thing in the morning. Maybe you leave in the afternoon on Wednesday, stay the night over. That way you're already in town first thing in the morning, so you can leave and have no problems. That would be my only recommendation. If you've got that first flight out Christmas morning, you may want to go up Christmas Eve afternoon and spend the night.
Okay. So then the prospects for Santa coming through in his sleigh are pretty good then.
Yeah, you won't have to put any wheels on those sleighs to make it across our area. I think natural snow will help him land on each and everyone's roof.
Okay, well, I hope he lands on mine. You know,
I don't know.
He hasn't been there for the last few years. I'm beginning to get a little upset. I keep wasting a stamp.
Yeah, but that helps on the heating bills.
I know he could get coal. Kelly could use that, couldn't you? A little coal.
Yeah, except I don't have a coal furnace, but.
That's okay, Cal.
That's what somebody needs to get you is a coal furnace. I'm probably on the I'm a weather guy, so I'm probably like perpetually on the naughty list. So
yeah, there you go.
Well,
all right. Well, Brian,
we appreciate it. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, you've had some good news for us. We appreciate it and wish you a Merry Christmas.
That's right. Merry Christmas,
well, Merry
buddy.
Christmas to you guys. Yeah, I'm actually, for those who are watching us on KMVT, they haven't seen me the last couple of days, and they won't. I'm taking the holiday off to spend time with my family, but because of the fact that it is a big deal around, everybody wants to know what the white Christmas looks like. I have been following along and keeping track and even working with the rest of my team, Jack Holland and Stephanie Mead, on our prospects of a white Christmas. I will tell you this, if you're sticking around here beyond, Christmas Eve is going to be fairly mild. We're looking at more of those temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. But then come Christmas Day, going into next weekend, temperatures come crashing down. It's going to actually feel like December. We're talking temperatures 30s and going into 20s.
I got 5 seconds, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
See ya. 7360300 was the number to call here this morning on Top Story. And guess what? You really need to listen to this because you're only going to hear it about one more time after today.
The Democrats' secular progressive move, political correctness is killing us too. They want to take the money from the hard-working man and give it to the lazy folks that don't give a damn. Democrats and liberals, shame on you. Don't punish us all just to please a few. You're holding people back while we're picking up the slack, and that's why we can't vote for a Democrat. Oh no, oh no, 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 no.
833-603-00, as we said, and whenever you hear that, you always know we have Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
We are not far away from the Idaho Legislature's 2015 session.
That's correct.
What do? They meet January 9th or something like that.
I think it's the
Is it that early?
second Monday of the month.
Okay.
So that would be about
I'm not
right.
sure on that, but I think that's when it is.
All right.
Well, if that's a second Monday of the month, then would be the 12th.
Ah, the 12th.
That may be wrong. They may be in session on
You
the
just pick a day,
5th.
Steve. Pick a day.
No, I don't think it's that soon.
I don't. For some reason,
I know they
think
go
it's-
up a little early before it.
Well, most of them have been up there now for some time. The committees are meeting, and the department heads from the various state departments have assembled their budgets, and they're doing some preliminary work to get kind of a head start, if you will, on some of the process. So they are spending a tremendous amount of time up there.
So they can sit around and wait until the JFAC comes up with a budget.
Yeah.
And they can really get to work.
Then they can go to work. Yeah.
So a few things that we might be looking at in the legislature this year, and there are actually three things on the list here that kind of are related: education funding, Common Core, and teacher pay. What do you visualize?
Well, number one, there's never enough money. So the educational funding is going to always be a contentious issue. The Common Core, when it first was put together years ago, the idea was that we would have a common framework from which to measure and outline educational process. I think that got hijacked by the federal government. And they have come in and said, now we want you to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to report this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And by the way, we have an awful lot of money, and if you don't do what we say, you're not going to get any of it. And so they kind of hijacked the whole process. But one of the real problems with Common Core is that it's test-based. In other words, we take a test to determine exactly what the outcome of the student is, the progress of the individual student. And what we really need is something that is what I consider to be competency-based. Let's measure their competency in the various disciplines, whether it's math or science or English or social studies or whatever.
How do you do that
But
without a
isn't
test?
that-
or something
Well,
like
you
that?
can
isn't that
do
what
it
they're
with
doing?
tests, but you see, the Common Core thing, we start out in September when the kids come to school, and the only test that really counts is the one they give back clear out in April or the first part of May. And so the teachers are a little bit frustrated because the measurement, the end result of a year's work, is not measured until next April or May.
Yeah.
So why don't we just give the kids regular competency studies and I remember when I went to school, this was a long time ago.
Don't even compare to your education. Okay.
But we used to have a test. It seems like to me that once a week, typically on a Friday, we would take a test on the various subjects, and that would give us a kind of a progress, a measuring rod, if you will, so we could see how we were doing in math, for example. And if we didn't do so well, then we would take our books home with us, and we'd study over the weekend so that we could kind of catch back up and get on track again. Yeah. And that's
But no one's
that's what
saying
we
the
call,
teachers aren't giving tests during the week or whenever.
a competency, when we measure your skill level or your progress in a given competency once a year, doesn't give us a real answer. We need to measure that more frequently so that if a child, one of the students, is falling behind, we can attack it and give him the proper help and get him back on track. And
You don't think that's what's happening?
Well,
I mean, the
but you see
teachers
that-
I've talked to actually really enjoy it.
they really do, but the only
Common
one
Core.
that really counts is that lousy thing that they have out there in April. And that's, that
sometimes
just
those are
doesn't
called final
measure the
exams.
progress.
I don't know.
So Common Core is a real problem, and there's a lot of people who are really upset with the Common Core and what it is doing to our education process. They're just, woe is me. How does this work?
It seems like those against it have kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, I guess, simmered down. But
I don't think so. I I see an awful lot of concern amongst the Republicans. We're going to have our winter meeting in January, and there's an awful lot of people, state central committee representatives, who are bringing up again Common Core. We need to change it or do away with it completely.
All right, we'll be right back with Steve Millington. 736-0300 is the number to call this morning on Top Story. Before we get back to Steve Millington, I just wanted to say that the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment want you to come on down. Now, you heard Brian Newdorf from KMVT saying we could get some snow. So what better to go with that snow than a brand new chainsaw to cut up that firewood?
That's
you know?
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that would go better.
Better have one.
That's right.
You're going to need it.
That's right. Exactly.
Of course, if you have to cook the turkey, cut the turkey.
Cut the
it's
turkey
always
up.
helpful.
Oh, yeah. Chainsaw does a great job of stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. And making those little wooden bears. I mean,
sure.
You can use, actually, a chainsaw is very more versatile than just cutting
you can
logs.
even imagine.
Yeah.
I know.
And they have them. They have the Husqvarna and the Echo chainsaws at Clearwater Power Equipment. So if you want to buy that special someone a new chainsaw, this is the place to go, because they got the sales, they got the service, they got the know-how. That's all they deal in is power equipment just like this. 252 Washington Street or 734-7767, the folks at Clearwater Power Equipment. And our number is 736-0300, and we have a call for Steve. Top Story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Common Core, ISATs, all of this testing has been a pet peeve of mine for years, but for a good reason. And a lot of people don't realize this, but I have a daughter in special ed. She's entirely in special ed. She's a freshman in high school this year, but she learns at about a fourth grade level. When she takes these state tests once a year, they're given to her as a freshman in high school, so she hasn't even studied the material she's being tested on. They don't give her tests based on what she's learning in school, but what her same-aged peers should be learning in school. So one test is not an accurate description of whether or not she's made progress.
Wow.
Yeah,
that doesn't even make sense. Have you talked to anybody about that and said, hey, why do you do this?
Yeah, and I've been told that that's just the way it is, that the tests are given based on their age, not what level they're in school, not what grade they're in, but based on their age.
Wow, that's really awesome.
That's the way it is, so you can't do anything about it.
And that's one of the reasons why we need to have competency-based testing rather than just these blanket age-based. In the case of our caller,
I'm not sure when you say competency. I mean, the same thing as they have standards.
If she is a special needs student and she does very well at, did she say fourth grade level?
Yeah.
Well, then fine. Give her tests based on fourth grade level, and let's measure how she is performing at that level.
Well, no, I agree with that.
Put her in a class with a bunch of freshmen in high school.
But is she in the fourth grade class or is she in the freshman with high school? Because if she's in a freshman class and she only learns at fourth grade, then she's really not learning anything. Then is she?
Well, see,
you're really beyond. So
but you see, that's part of the problem with the educational process is that we're not nearly so concerned about what are you learning. It's how old are you and which grade level are you supposed to be in? And what we need to do is make sure that they're learning the subject material and moving forward from that standpoint, we'd have better even kids look, I read an article in the local newspaper about a kid. He was a scholar of the week or something, and he's going to graduate from high school, and he's going to graduate with an associate's degree from CSI at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's competency-based skills for you. The kid has excelled way beyond, and he's doing great. Let's reward that kind of progress, that effort. Why do we?
I always have a problem with that because you're like, if juniors and seniors in high school, and they have a lot that do these classes, it's not just the special ones that do these classes at CSI, but if your curriculum is for juniors and seniors in high school, what does that say about CSI? I'm sorry. I mean, it sounds great the other way, but
let's take a great big huge sledgehammer and bust everything in Idaho education all to pieces because it doesn't equal Massachusetts.
Well,
Go
I'm sorry,
fly a
but
kite.
I'm sorry. I mean, I just think that says something. And when they don't take final exams out here because they have perfect
Wait a minute.
attendance,
Final exams, you're painting
ridiculous.
the entire state with the results of one or two school districts.
Twin
and there's
Falls,
115 of them in the
Kimberly.
state, and they don't all perform like that one
But
does.
we live in Twin Falls.
But our radio audience includes everything from Burley to Glens Ferry and from Jackpot to Sun Valley.
So how
Is that
many are
right?
taking final
cover that?
exams?
That's pretty close.
I
pretty
think
close.
it's ridiculous.
Well,
but go on.
And
I mean, really, do you
quit
think
beating
it's
up
okay?
on the whole state over one or two little things. Let's talk
One or
about where
two
the
little
money
things?
is going to come from to fund education.
Let these kids take final exams. Who cares about their attendance?
One of the things that Otter come up with was his 20-point program last year, 5-year implementation cycle, $350 million, and they got $80 million of it last year. So that means that we still are on the hook for about $270 million over the next 4 years. Where are we going to get all that money?
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's a major. What that says is that our economy in the state of Idaho, our gross domestic product, and basically those areas of our economy which produce taxes, are going to advance, grow strong enough that we can pick up an extra $100 million a year to fund state operations.
It's easy to say that we need more money for education, and we do. But
yes, we do.
You know, I mean, it's got to come from someplace.
Where's it
going to
come
pick
from?
it off the money tree.
So we've got to have people who are earning wages because they pay income taxes, and those same people are going to spend money that are going to be subject to sales taxes. And so we have the income tax side, we have the sales tax side. And those are the two primary sources of income revenues for the state of Idaho. So we got to have income upon which we pay income taxes, and we have to spend our money in areas where we are subject to sales tax, and that funds the state operations. There's been a lot of conversation about we're going to pay our teachers differently. The beginning wage in the state of Idaho for teachers is cannot be less than $31,750. Well, the proposal is that we would raise that from the $31,750 to $40,000 over the next 5 years. Well, that's about a 25% increase, if my math is even close. And I didn't take Common Core math, so I don't know.
So there you go. But, Steve, what is the starting salaries in the surrounding states? Like right now?
Significantly higher.
So
now,
it's so 31.5 is really
it's 31,750, but
31,750.
It's below Wyoming, it's below Nevada, it's below Utah. I have no reference
Oregon,
point
Washington?
in Oregon, Washington, and Montana. I do know that it is the beginning salary is much higher in Nevada and Utah and Wyoming than it is in Idaho. And we see a lot of good college graduates that have graduated in the education profession who leave Idaho and go to adjoining states because of the revenue. Because they make more money. Yeah. We got some bills to pay.
Who can blame? Who can blame?
Yeah, who can blame them?
Yeah.
And so we're losing access to a large portion of very well educated people, teachers, because they just can't stay here and work for that kind of money. They got to go where they can make some money.
We got a caller.
Let's take a call. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Just a couple of points. Quickly, the legislature does convene on the 12th, according to their website.
Thank you.
Also, if Jill needs a chainsaw to cut the turkey, that's a tough meal. But,
well, I don't eat turkey, so I would not even cook one. I might need a chainsaw for that.
On this topic of testing and competency-based education, when you have a high-stakes test at the end of the year, and teachers are being forced to teach to that. They may give incremental exams weekly or every other week or however often they want, but what they're generally forced to do is just keep pushing forward to this high-stakes test at the end. The result of that, over and over, it's been proven in numerous academic studies, is that you end up leaving a bunch of kids either behind or you hold back a bunch of kids that could perform better. When you shift to a competency-based model, what you do is very easily, very quickly, you take a very short assessment, say it's fourth grade math, and you're going to teach multi-digit multiplication. You can do an assessment real quick and understand that half the class has already got this and half of it doesn't. And you can assign homework to the class that already gets it that starts to move them into multi-digit division and focus on the kids who are struggling with multi-digit multiplication. And you do that on a weekly basis and check where they are, because if you just keep cruising through in order to teach to that test at the end of the semester, what you do is the kid who missed a subject, didn't understand it in October, struggles all the way through the rest of the year and might barely pass, but has learned to absolutely hate math. And if we go back and say, where did this kid struggle? October 1st, that's the topic, and we're going to work on that topic with him or her until they have it figured out. In the meanwhile, we can keep these other kids moving forward. That's how we develop a competency as opposed to just teaching to a test. And that's what education really should be.
Good
point. As it relates to Common Core, we do have to have some kind of standard around what it means to be competent in fourth grade math or algebra or whatever the topic is. The problem is when Common Core questions move from how do you solve two equations with two unknowns, when it moves to that to say something like inserting any kind of political issues. How do you think people feel about this topic or about that topic as it relates to a lumber company? Well, that's not Common Core. That's all this opinion and political kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how you either do math or what the science components may be.
So that's kind of what the anti-Common Core people are against then. That's kind of their beef right there, I take it.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, I
Good
think
thought.
that, they're trying to teach critical thinking. And I've heard from at least 2 teachers that said, they wouldn't go back. They think it's great. Or why doesn't Idaho actually ask a state like Massachusetts, how are you doing because your students are doing so well? It's like we just sit there and fumble, and obviously our statistics are terrible, and then we don't retain teachers, and there we go.
Well,
but we keep saying everything's fine.
We can get bogged down on the Common Core thing, and that's already been discussed. I wanted to move on here. What about highway taxes?
There is a great deal of effort and attention being paid to the lack of funding for transportation issues in the state of Idaho. And we need to keep in mind that the Transportation Department funding is not included in the general fund, the Idaho General Fund. It is a separate entity, off kind of by itself. And the numbers I have heard is that we are in a deficit situation of at least $250 million per year of additional monies that we need to increase the transportation budgets just to kind of keep current. And one example that I heard was that we can maintain a road for $1, but if we have to replace the road, it's going to cost us $6.
Wow.
So the old adage of a stitch in time saves 9 is pretty close, because if we don't maintain the roads on a everyday, month in, month out basis, eventually they're going to completely disintegrate. And to replace that road, to replace it is going to cost us somewhere between 6 and 8 times more money.
But they aren't thinking about raising any kind of, or are
yes,
they
Are.
taxes? Actually, I got a survey last night on the phone.
They are seriously considering raising gasoline taxes and perhaps some user fees.
And registration fees.
Registration and licensing.
Like,
And so one thing about highway taxes, we are in a position where we can use user-based taxes to help pay for that. Gasoline taxes, licenses, registration, other fees associated with the use of our roads.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see
roads.
All roads. And I think we'll see
toll roads.
No, we don't want to go to toll roads.
You don't.
You're right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
But seriously, if they don't have the money, what are they going to be doing? Come on. And then they keep talking about cutting taxes. It's like, are you kidding me?
We're reaching the point where that we must accept the fact, and I hate it worse than anybody, There's nobody on this earth that hates to pay taxes like I do. But
you need
we
taxes.
reached the point where that we have, I used to use the term government responsibilities versus government overreach. Two of our major responsibilities is transportation and education. Those are responsibilities we cannot avoid.
Yeah. Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Merry Christmas,
Steve.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Have a
See you
great
next
holiday.
week.
All right. And next hour, we're just going to discuss a bunch of stuff. We got a lot of good stuff here that you just can't live without right here on Top Story. Next hour. Well, welcome. 7360300, the number to call. Actually, it has turned off winter. It's like 30 right now. We've had the wind blowing for the past few days, which makes it even colder.
The wind. And where we live, there's nothing that blocks it. It sounds even worse. It's like we're in a tornado constantly.
Living on the tundra, huh?
I'm in the tundra, baby. In the tundra.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you. We got we actually have some news items to talk about that we never got to talk about in the first hour. We kind of got off on
For the past couple days.
yeah, we kind of got off on Adam Sandler and
Love
stuff
that.
like
Hope people
so.
enjoyed that. Very clever. Very clever.
And there was a part 2. I don't know what the part 2 is. I'm almost afraid to play it.
Yeah. Well, I think
So.
he added to it or did a different version for another Saturday Night Live or something.
Oh, that could have been. We do have some stuff to talk about here, but the phone's ringing, so
Sure.
let's just go ahead and do that, shall we? Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to say, but before they start raising taxes on the roads around here, they need to learn how to do them.
Are they
the
doing them
roads.
wrong?
Well, they're not doing them right. They tear up within a year. They got Idaho Falls to redo the roads in Yellowstone, and they didn't last 3 months over there.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. It's like Blue Lakes. Drive down Blue Lakes and see how bad that is.
Yeah.
So before they start raising taxes stuff, they need to learn how to use something else besides what they're using.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're not doing them right because they don't have the money.
Well, that's been for years. I mean, that's been forever.
I don't know. I just have to. I think the ITD has been doing a pretty good job of keeping the roads in good shape.
It's
now,
like Band-Aids. It's
no.
like Band-Aids.
Right.
That's
And
what they're doing.
How long that's going to last, I don't know. But I think for what they've had to work with, I think they've been doing a pretty good job. But now, what a lot of people are confused at is once you leave a state highway or something and you get off onto the county road the Idaho Department of Transportation has nothing to do with. And those are maintained by counties. So, I don't know, maybe some of that.
And Band-Aids.
I mean, out on Highway 74, that's in really good shape.
Well, some of the county road, I mean, we live there. You know, you fill a pothole, you fill that. How long does it last? You know, you see it.
Yeah, you know, and
you can only do what they can do. But
that's right.
Without a budget, they're just literally just scraping by.
I think so. And I think they are doing, I don't think the Department of Transportation has some conspiracy to say, well, let's see how bad we can fix these and we'll take the money and, do something. We'll have a big party. I don't think they're doing that.
No, we'll
okay?
have a new windsock on the Prime Bridge because I wonder how that thing's doing the last few days. Oh, high winds. The windsock is filled. I mean, really, that was their big sign. But they are doing the signs for the winds,
when you stop
some
and think
days.
about it, the cars today are getting a lot better mileage than they got 40 years ago or 20 years ago. We got hybrids on the roads now, so they get better mileage. So the more economical the cars are, the less gas that they're buying and the less gas that's going to tax money. It's like cigarettes. They're using a lot of states use the cigarette tax money for education or whatever. Well, the more people who quit smoking, that's less and less tax money going for whatever they had it designated for.
So you're saying more people should smoke because we need taxes?
See, I'm not saying
but
that,
also
but if that's
trucks,
how it works.
The heavier trucks, and they just increased the limit, I think, on trucks. Remember, wasn't that like a year or so ago? So, it has more wear and tear. And literally some of these roads that were not meant for all this truck travel, when you look at what's happening, the back roads and what's going to be happening with Cliff Bar on 3300 and Orchard,
that's going to be a county issue.
I know, but those roads weren't meant for all that, really, all that.
They'll probably have to build those up a little bit.
You think?
No
and maybe
question
have
about
the
I do know
berms
this.
so all the cyclists that can ride their bikes to Cliff Bar don't get mashed by trucks. Put targets on those poor people's backs. Like, what do they think we're living in,
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We have room on each side. No worries. Just duck.
We do have a little bit of news to talk about. You heard a while back, about a week or so ago, that somebody was out here on Park Avenue, which is the same road that we're on out here.
Park Avenue.
And had pulled someone over. And he's not a cop. He was impersonating a policeman, apparently, allegedly. Has a black SUV, pulled a lady over, apparently, and had the red and blue flashing lights and the whole ball of wax.
Well, yeah, who wouldn't want to be a cop?
I guess when she questioned him, then he left, but he has struck again. Now, whether or not it's the same person, I don't know, but it sounds like the same person. It was South Washington, black SUV, same M.O. The woman, Josh Palmer, the city PIO, said that a woman was driving in the 1300 block of Washington South when a man driving a black SUV put on emergency lights and pulled her over. Palmer said the man asked for her identification and told her to get out of the car.
Yeah, at what point would you? But really, at that point, I would think, okay, yeah, I would stop too if I saw lights behind me, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So at what point do you think they're not a cop?
You kind of darned if you do and darned if you don't.
Okay, so
if it's a real cop and you don't stop, then they pull you out of the car.
Right, exactly.
You. So at any rate, the woman drove ahead to a better lit area and called city dispatch.
That was very good thinking.
Yeah, well, the woman called police at 11:14 p.m. The suspect vehicle was last seen driving past Orchard. He said the description was a clean-shaven white male with a polo shirt. Matched the description given of a man driving a black SUV who stopped a woman on Park Avenue a week ago. So
at least he's clean shaven.
Yeah.
But at what point,
careful.
Really, and Tom said to me, be careful, because when you see lights, you think, oh no, I would stop, because if you don't, you're in trouble.
If it is legit and you don't
then
stop.
What if they start shooting? If you're in Cleveland, they had 62 cars chasing these poor people, and they ended up getting killed. But, you don't know at what point, would you think, okay, is it because he had a white polo shirt on? Sometimes those look, okay, well, maybe that's their casual clothes. And now, and it wasn't you, right, Kelly? Because you now have a TFPD hat.
I do, but I don't have a black SUV.
No, and they didn't give you the badge.
And I'm not clean shaven.
So anyway, be careful out there, but you really don't know.
This lady did it right. She went to a better lit area and then called dispatch.
My question is, if you were the real police and you just moved to a better lit area, would they think you were leaving the scene? Would they be as patient?
I know.
I mean, I don't know. Someone call in and tell me if that's okay to do. What do you do in those situations? If you were a real cop, would you be annoyed they're driving away?
Yeah.
I mean, but when you're a woman and at night, you don't know anymore.
I know.
So I don't know. It's a tough one.
This is kind of a bad situation, but I know that if they're just pulling you over for something like speeding, I'm not going to speak for a cop, but they normally don't ask you to get out of the vehicle. In fact, they prefer you remain in the vehicle. When they pull you over, they would like you to turn on your dome, especially if it's at night, turn on the dome light, put your hands on the steering wheel so they can see where your hands are, and then sit there.
Well, they had someone in Blaine County. The guy actually identified himself as a police officer and wrote a fake ticket.
Yeah.
Press hard for 3 copies. Yeah.
I wonder if he collected. I mean, we laugh about it, but it's pretty serious. I mean,
it is serious. So anyway, please be careful out there.
Isn't it a felony to impersonate an officer?
I think so. But who used to impersonate a state trooper, and he actually admitted it. I heard him saying in an interview, was Mitt Romney. He used to think that was funny to pull people over in New Hampshire. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? Anyway, hey, there's another scam going around that I saw today, so beware. I got an email from DirecTV, and they said that we were late on our bill. We were just checking, but you can make a one-time payment for $116 or what it was. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, it comes on my credit card. So I check my credit card. So this is a scam, people. I'm going to call them today and tell them what's happening.
I'm sure they know by now.
I hope so.
It'll be
but
okay to call
you know
them.
what? If you're sitting there thinking and you're, it's a busy time of year and you're like, oh, did I pay the bill? Did I not?
Oh,
well,
exactly.
It's automatic on our credit card. But that's a new scam. So beware. Beware.
Man, I tell you got to be on your toes because every day I get emails that are scams, and I just ignore them. I'm so used to them now, I don't pay any attention to them. But if
Something
you were
like
kind of
that.
new to it, and I keep
And
thinking,
it looks official.
what if my dad or somebody, got a computer and was on here? Man, he would go nuts. With all these things that and all these little attachments that they send you. You got a FedEx parcel, and we weren't able to deliver it. So go here and double click on this, and get the instructions. And by then, it puts malware or a virus or something on your computer. And
so when you get
done.
like a whacked out email from someone, like I can always tell when they've gotten hacked because I've been hacked so many times. And then you respond going, "Oh, so and so, you've been hacked." Does that then affect your computer?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
No.
I just delete them.
No. Yeah,
I contact the
do.
person and say you've just been hacked.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's just, it's a crazy world out there in the Ethernet, and you got to be careful.
I know.
Because if you're not, I don't even open emails from people I don't know, or that I think that I might
you think
be
you know,
expecting.
but you don't know.
I probably don't open 90% of my emails. So if you've ever
that
emailed me and
explains a
you
lot.
didn't get a response, that's probably why.
That explains
I
a
didn't
lot.
know who you were, so I didn't open it.
But sometimes the email is to inform you of who they are. And
I
maybe they want to be
know.
on the show.
I know.
So,
But anyway.
Yeah, so we digress. So anyway, those are a couple scams going on. So if you're not certain someone's a cop, just call 911 right away and ask them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to do this now.
What?
Just so I don't have to do it in a little bit.
Because, it's so taxing.
I'm sorry.
This is so
I
taxing.
didn't mean to sound that way, but, we got a couple
It's
of
just
things
so
to unpack.
tough.
We got an orangutan in Argentina that has now been given non-human person rights.
Yeah.
Boy, what kind of a Pandora's box can that open up? So we're going to be talking about
Hopefully
that.
a lot of them.
Also, we've got 9 do's and don'ts of teacher gifts every
That's right.
parent should know. So if you're thinking about getting your kid's teacher a gift.
A lot of people do. Didn't Connie get a lot of gifts?
Oh, yeah. She always brought boxes of them home every year.
Oh, nice.
But it will surprise you, some of the things on those, and the number one choice, too.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to tell you that the folks at Far More of Idaho have the Certiset, which is a new way to irrigate. And if you're thinking of redoing your irrigation system for the coming season, this is something you want to look into. You don't have to do as much spraying. You don't have as much labor picking up the pipe, laying out the pipe, waiting for the pipe to be picked up, waiting for the pipe to be put back out. It's Certiset, and it's available at Far More of Idaho. They know all about it. They are the experts on this. You can find out more by giving them a call at 324-3341 and also at farmoreofidaho.com. But I'll tell you, technology is just... I keep saying it's going to kill us and it's going to save us, because, and in this way, it's going to save us. But technology has not been lost on agriculture. There are so many things that they're doing today with technology that they didn't do back in the 80s when I was farming.
Yeah.
They got GPSs on the tractors now. The only reason you have to be in the tractor is to turn it on the ends.
Well,
and I'm
Tom
pretty sure
said
they're working on that.
Back in he didn't have a cab.
That's right. A cab. What's a cab?
What's
for
a
sissies.
cab? That's right.
That's like
we had our head burned.
It's like air conditioning. You don't put air conditioning on a tractor, you sissy. Come on.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. The word of the day is brought to you by the folks at Happy Landing Restaurant, where you can go and have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's at the airport, and you don't have to be flying anywhere to eat at the airport. You can just go out and eat.
Well, it's
I do
nice
it all
when
the
it's
time.
only a few miles away.
I know.
It's so nice.
That's right, and it's easy to get to. You don't have to fight traffic.
No, traffic's not going that way.
I have to tell you, I was down on the north end of Twin Falls yesterday afternoon. It was bedlam. Bedlam, I tell you. In fact, we were going to eat at one of the restaurants, and it was so crowded we had to go to, we went someplace else. So, but at any rate, but the Happy Landing, they got plenty of parking there at the airport. They got great homemade food. If you tell them you heard about it with Kelly and Jill, and you haven't eaten there before, and you get a meal or a drink, they'll give you a piece of homemade pie.
Free piece of pie. What
Just
could be
great.
better than that?
So yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Tarnia Goodman.
Tarnia Goodman, congratulations.
I may be not saying that.
Wait.
Tarina.
How do you spell it?
Taryna. Tarina.
Tarina
Goodman.
Goodman, congratulations.
Yeah. And your $100 word of the day for today is a stocking.
Stocking.
Stockings were hung by the chimney with care.
Oh.
in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Oh, go on.
So go to our website, newsradio1310.com, and click on Word of the Day. Type in stocking, Stockking, and then listen tomorrow. If you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word today, you'll win $100. We have a list of do's and don'ts when buying gifts for teachers. And the very first one, they want you to remember that teachers are adults too.
They are?
Yes.
Wow.
Believe it or not, a bottle of alcohol can be a perfect gift for your child's teacher.
We should have gone from 9 to 1.
I guess we should have. I just wanted to get to this one, though, because it was so fun.
You're like, yeah, so one more bottle of alcohol for the teacher, like they don't have enough. Oh, my goodness.
Well, one parent commented that she bought a bottle of Patron tequila for her son's preschool teacher.
It's
while
Patron.
Patron.
Yeah.
Oh, well, looks like patron to me.
I know, but it's
That's
Patron.
that English language again.
I know.
And I'm not a tequila drinker, so anyway, maybe I should be a teacher and become one.
I know.
But at any rate, Patron tequila for her son's preschool teacher, while another mentioned that a bottle of champagne usually does the trick, even if the teacher doesn't drink. And I thought this was funny. Because if you're a teacher, I can almost guarantee you drink. You can always take the bottle to an upcoming party.
If you have to deal with, 35 to 38 kids in your class every day.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't even imagine.
But you can always regift, and it's always nice.
Yeah, you can do that.
Regift that one or use it
or
and
save
consume it.
That's right.
Put it in your coffee before the class starts.
Bottle of tequila? What bottle of tequila?
Common Core? What Common Core? Anyway, okay. So what's number 2?
Number 2,
to do.
Don't waste money on little trinkets or mugs.
How many mugs do you think poor teachers get?
I know. My wife has a bunch of them. There's no need to add extra clutter to their desk. As one teacher responded, I get so many mugs and ornaments and little trinkets from my desk that I don't know what to do with them all. They end up getting re-gifted or donated.
Aw. So help someone get a mug. Give it to a teacher.
Yeah.
It'll be regifted.
Do get creative. Homemade survival kits are a great way to show your appreciation for the stresses teachers combat daily. Make sure that each item is actually useful and include a few special treats. Extra credit if you choose a reusable box.
Oh.
So you can put in a survival kit like tequila, wine, champagne, all that stuff.
Bailey's, whatever. Patron. There you go.
All right. Instead of patron.
Yeah.
Don't go overboard or too weird.
Okay.
One teacher relayed a story of receiving silkworm eggs because she once taught a history class on the Silk Road. Creative? Maybe. Practical? Absolutely not. Try to find gifts that they'll actually enjoy over the holiday season.
Can you imagine giving them a gift for every topic they've taught? Some weird thing. You're like, oh gosh.
That would be interesting.
Silkworm eggs.
Work within your budget. When it comes to giving teachers gifts, it truly is the thought that counts. In a heartwarming story, one teacher recounted that her favorite present was a used bottle of lotion.
Aww.
She was working at an inner-city school in Philadelphia, and the student was upset she couldn't afford a real gift and explained it was the best she could do. Little did she know her teacher would be sharing the story as the best gift she received in her entire career.
Isn't that sweet?
So there you go. That's a nice
Kids are
story.
so sweet,
Do give a gift from the heart. A creative teacher gift like the idea of the bars in a basket or bucket with a note attached.
Would this be so wrong if you actually gave the thing about the budget, if you actually gave the teacher some money or cash? You know what I mean? They put so much out of their own pocket for supplies. Would that be so awful? Is that on this list?
Gift cards are wonderful for that.
Little gift cards or some
even
money.
Even a gift card for a meal out, a dinner out, with their spouse or something.
Or a check.
Why
not? They have to pay the rent.
Or a bag of gold would be nice. Believe me, it would be nice.
The dinner,
a winning lottery ticket. For crying out loud, people, don't be so stingy.
Because
come on.
they don't get the money from the lottery anyway.
That's right. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning. Got a story here that I think is interesting, and I can almost tell that Jill and I are going to be at odds on this. But it is a sad story.
I hate stories like this.
An orangutan held in an Argentine zoo can be freed and transferred to a sanctuary after a court recognized the ape as a non-human person.
How long did it take them to do that?
Long time.
How hard?
Unlawfully deprived of its freedom. Yeah. Animal rights campaigners filed a habeas corpus petition, a document more typically used to challenge the legality of the person's detention or imprisonment, in November on behalf of Sandra, a 29-year-old Sumatran orangutan at the Buenos Aires Zoo. In a landmark ruling that could pave the way for more lawsuits, the Association of Officials and Lawyers for Animal Rights argued the ape had sufficient cognitive functions and should not be treated as an object. The court agreed Sandra, born into captivity in Germany before being transferred to Argentina 2 decades ago, deserved the basic rights of a non-human person. This opens the way not only for other great apes, but also for other sentient beings. I don't know how, I should have looked that up. Sentient beings which are unfairly and arbitrarily deprived of their liberty in zoos, circuses, water parks, and scientific laboratories. Orangutan is a word from the Malay and Indonesian languages that means forest man. Sandra's case is not the first time activists have sought to use the habeas corpus writ to secure the release of wild animals from captivity. A U.S. court this month tossed out a similar bid for the freedom of Tommy the chimpanzee, privately owned in New York State, ruling the chimp was not a person entitled to the rights and protections afforded by habeas corpus.
I think I had a date with him once, Tommy. Blind date.
That was Tommy the chimpanzee, or was that the ape that you...
Yeah.
But anyway, in 2011, the animal rights group People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals filed a lawsuit against marine park operator SeaWorld, alleging 5 wild-captured orca whales were treated like slaves. A San Diego court dismissed the case. The Buenos Aires Zoo has 10 working days to seek an appeal. A spokesman for the zoo declined to comment. The zoo's head of biology, Adrian Sestello, told La Nacion that orangutans were by nature calm, solitary animals which come together only to mate and care for their young.
Okay.
So this idea, and believe me, I am an animal lover.
You are an animal lover.
I do. I love animals. We have
and
dogs.
Did you see her face? Did you see the picture of her?
I did.
This is sad.
I don't believe in being mean to animals. I believe in treating them well.
29 years locked up.
I also believe that animals are not humans. They may act human at times. They may do human things. Our own pets do things that you know they can tell what you're talking about. They know that they can talk to you.
They know fear when you beat them and you raise your hand.
Absolutely.
So, but they declared her a non-human person.
Agreed. But if they start giving human rights, which would be the next step,
it's actually non-human rights
to animals, then we've got serious problems.
But well, we're dealing with this thing, and she's been locked up for 29 years. And it's hard. It's hard for me to go to zoos now or to see a circus and things like that. And SeaWorld has had problems where, those orcas are attacking. I'm sure not because they're happy every day doing those things. But I was telling you that I saw this thing on I don't know if it was 60 Minutes a few years ago, and it just stuck in my head, and it just makes me so sad when I think about it. This little chimpanzee, I don't think it was Tommy, but he was in this small little concrete cage, nothing nice. And they taught him sign language. And he signed, he must have done something really bad to have been in here that long. It was so sad. I mean, for him to actually say that, hello, they must know something. So it's hard for me to see this stuff anymore. And you think it's just for our enjoyment to sit there and look at them. Let her go to a sanctuary. Let her be able to run around. What is wrong with that? Poor Sandra.
The thing that I really don't understand is why people do treat animals like that.
Gosh, the elephant that was chained up, that was crying when it was freed.
I know,
crying.
And you see it on Facebook all the time. You see videos of people being mean to animals. I don't understand how that can be. But but as far as giving them rights equal to humans, I mean.
Well, no, these were non-human person rights.
Understood.
Why
but
should
there
she
have
be?
been
But why
attempts
should
give-
she be locked up for 29 years? Really, imprisoned.
I know. I agree. But there have been attempts, and there will continue to be, from these some of these organizations that want animals to have the full rights of human beings, which means we wouldn't have a livestock industry, we wouldn't have a pet industry. I mean, all the animals would just go free. And they'd be roaming everywhere.
But that's not what that. You always go to the extreme.
But that's
not what the case is.
But that's
the case is Sandra should be in a sanctuary. Let Sandra be free.
It's in small.
So
steps.
we never do any laws because the end road. But you know what? We do have laws. So and you can make them. But honestly, shouldn't Sandra be allowed to run free one time in her 29 years?
736-0300 is the number to call here on this Christmas Eve. I don't think
Christmas Eve.
Sometimes we overlook that. Christmas Eve.
Is anyone shopping today?
Oh my gosh, shopping. Don't even bring that up.
Oh, you haven't done anything.
I haven't. No.
Yeah, but it's amazing how you guys always moan and groan.
I did shop for some stocking stuffers for my wife. That's all I'm responsible for.
Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, and it's just been grueling. How you're like,
I
know. Men are like, I wrote 3 cards. I'm exhausted. I hate this holiday.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you are looking for a place to go Christmas shopping, and there is one good place that I can tell you.
Please tell me.
Canyon Pawn.
Okay.
If you're looking for a little bit of everything, a pawn shop is the place to go.
Mm-hmm.
The town's newest pawn shop and the cleanest pawn shop is Canyon Pawn. And they've got, let's face it, Christmas time is a good time to give someone a gun. I mean, they've got hunting season, we got all sorts of stuff going on, and there's shooting sports. Guns are just a nice thing to give, and they've got them at Canyon Pawn. They've also got camping supplies and woodworking stuff, and a lot of this stuff is new in boxes. You know what I'm saying?
It's new in boxes, that's for sure. I know what you're saying, Bal.
And they're easy to get to.
Very easy.
They're on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota.
And you just open the box. It's very easy to get to.
Just open the box. Open the box. Yeah. Tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I know. So you got big plans?
Do I have big plans
for the Christmas? Because you're kind of in a unique
area. I'm worn out already.
Area. You are. I know you are.
I am worn out already.
And you're kind of in a unique position. You're in one of those mixed relationships where you're Jewish and your husband is Christian.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we celebrate both holidays. He lights the candles and does the holidays that I do. I'm very traditional. I always like doing holidays, and so. But then we, go to his sister's and we do Christmas. But, it's a lot of work, I have to say, and it's not even my holiday. And I always feel like, well, it's their holiday. And so whatever she wants to make for dinner, of course, and we end up cooking all day long. It's exhausting, not to mention the stuff before the holiday with the shopping. I did like 40 cards the other day, not to mention Hanukkah is earlier. You got to get those out sooner. I'm already late on my Hanukkah cards. Thank goodness the last 8 days. I'm like, you're exhausted by the time the holiday shows up. Women, I know you feel me. It is. It's true. You're up late wrapping. They can't be around when you're wrapping. Like Tom was like, yesterday I got home. I had like an hour before he got home from work trying to wrap things for him. Like, it's just a lot of work, and then you're exhausted afterwards. But hey, Merry Christmas. I don't know. It's not my holiday. I mean, it's nice, they do stuff, and I'm always appreciative and want to help them. But I'm telling you, some days I'm just like, oh, this holiday's a killer.
Yeah,
So holiday's a killer.
I guess maybe it's easier from an older standpoint to look back and say, we have let this Christmas thing get way out of control.
I know. And I don't even think Jesus was a materialistic person.
No,
and look at what you're doing in honor of Jesus.
I know.
You're buying stuff
totally
out.
Agree.
It's
yes.
What would Jesus do? He would not buy gifts and do all this. He would sit there and give you some message to live by, some, meaningful thing.
Jill. I agree.
The guy didn't have anything, and you guys celebrate the birthday with everything.
Christmas,
is something wrong with
Christmas
this?
has been hijacked by commercialism. There is no
doubt
about that.
Hypocritical here for the birth of the guy who has nothing.
I would just like to go back to the time when we make something, and give someone something that we have made, or some simple thing to express appreciation.
Right,
But my God,
write your own card or letter.
Yes.
How much that
Yes.
person means to you.
But shelling out money that you don't have, putting it on credit cards for stuff that nobody needs, for people that you don't even like. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I know.
We have allowed the hijacking of Christmas. And I mean, it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. It's not to see how many expensive gifts you can pour upon other people. It's not. I don't care.
And you know what the part that gets to me too? The bags and bags of wasted wrapping paper. Oh my goodness. Oh my
That's another
goodness.
whole show right
That's
there.
another show.
My
It's
gosh.
like I have never seen so much.
You go to the store and you buy brand new wrapping paper that's been made out of trees out of the forest. You wrap the present once and then you throw it away.
They rip it,
put
and
it
the
in the
ribbons.
fireplace.
The ribbons.
I know, Jill. I feel your pain. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just want to challenge all Christians to put out a nativity scene. I know it's a little late for this year, but other years they can put out a nativity scene in their yard, but almost nobody does that anymore. I do every year.
Well, I've
Good for
I've
you.
seen
That's
some
cool.
around, but that's good.
Nice.
I mean, it's still not too late, right? I'm
It's
sure
not too
You
late.
still got Christmas
you can
coming.
still do it. Absolutely.
You can keep it up till at least February.
I've never put up outside Christmas decorations. My wife decorates the inside of the house like nobody's
She's a
business.
teacher.
And we have a nice, she is. That's
I know. My neighbor was a teacher, and her house
Yes.
every holiday is decorated to the hilt.
I built a sofa table a few years ago, and my wife puts a beautiful nativity scene on that every year, and we have it again this year.
Aw,
So, in fact, I've
Kelly.
been thinking that's one of the things I want to do in my wood shop is build a nativity scene, small nativity scene. I think that would just
lifelike.
be cool.
Why don't you do a lifelike one?
Well, I'm not quite that
no,
good.
come on, Kel.
you
Do
know.
the lifelike.
There's some sort of a nice nativity scene that's homemade that could be considered an heirloom that, I don't know, maybe one of the kids would like or something. Or maybe I could make enough for each of the kids.
Just write
That's
someone
what
a
I wanna
nice,
do.
kind letter.
I want to build some Christmas
Help
Christmas heirlooms
Give
for the
to
family.
someone else.
Yeah,
Why
there
don't
you
you
go.
charity? Come
Here's
on.
the Huckabee Report. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed, Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger, the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563.
That's right.
You look like you wanted to say something.
No.
No,
What am I going to say?
You're just sitting there.
What am I going to
just
say? I'm just a little tired
Tomorrow
right
we're
now.
going to be talking to a lady by the name of Rachel Anderson.
That's correct.
She's going to be coming here to talk about the, it's
Pet
kind of
rescue.
centered, the pet rescue. Yeah, it's kind of centered in the Burley area, but they cover the whole southern part of the state.
Why don't we ask
The
her
very-
about Sandra, the orangutan?
Yeah, we could do that.
Why not?
Sandra the orangutan. It's an orangutan.
Orangutan.
Say it right.
Oh, it's
Or
Patron.
don't say it at
It's
all.
Patron, but you
No.
said no, it's Patron.
Well, it was spelled like
oh,
patron.
please.
I can't help
it's
it.
pronounced Patron.
But an orangutan is orangutan. It's spelled like orangutan. It doesn't
well,
have a
whatever.
G
Her
on
name's
the end.
Sandra. You should
Yeah.
call her Miss Sandra
Okay, well,
to you.
Her name is Rachel, the one we'll be talking to tomorrow. Actually, she's my dental hygienist also.
Oh, is that right?
That's kind of where I got onto this.
Which,
yeah.
by the way, today is the day finally, right?
I know.
They're going to yank the tooth.
I guess so.
Do we have to have a play-by-play
it was
by
a-
Rachel tomorrow on the tooth?
Well, she won't be there.
pulling?
This will be at the at another place. You know, dentists don't pull teeth anymore.
What do
They're
they
kind of
do?
like doctors. You go to a dentist, get your teeth cleaned, and some minor stuff like that. Anything major, you go to a specialist.
Who is a special? They call him a tooth-pulling specialist. Who is it?
It's Dr. Hopkins.
So he just specializes in pulling teeth.
Well, I don't know. He does a lot of stuff, but pulling teeth is one of the things he does.
But the dentist doesn't pull teeth.
I guess not.
Really?
Not my dentist.
Wow. Prima donna dentist. I'm sorry. I don't pull
Well, no.
teeth. Like, wow.
I don't know how that works.
What do you mean?
Maybe they don't have the equipment. I don't know how that works. But
I
anyway,
don't know. What time are you having
I-
it done?
I'm 2:00.
Okay, great. I just want to prepare so if anyone hears a huge scream in the
Yeah,
Magic Valley, it's
kidding.
Kelly Class.
Because I'm really a sissy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I bit down a week ago Sunday, and I felt something go crunch. And it was a tooth that just cracked.
And it was fish you were biting down on, which should be
It
soft.
was actually a green bean, so it
I
wasn't
thought it was the
anything that was.
fish.
It wasn't anything that was really difficult.
Think what your teeth have gone through all these years. You're lucky you have any left.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Then the things you've consumed.
I've ground them down. I get irritated. My teeth grind.
And Lord knows what you've eaten over the years.
Oh, well,
Well, we can't digress.
I can tell you, when the bugs come after me, they get sick. So it's worked, apparently.
Listeria is afraid of you.
Yeah, so I'll see how I feel tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, did you hear after we had those environmental specialist guys, they had an outbreak of listeria on caramel apples?
I didn't hear about that.
Yes, on caramel apples. You can't cook caramel apples. How are you supposed to deal with that? Listeria and caramel apples. They need to give us a question and answer on that one.
I'll say.
They talked about killing it by cooking it, but what do you do with a caramel apple?
I don't know. I know we're out of time. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.